And I want to try and finish this today, if at all possible. The next thing is to fit the rudder, and there's a slot in the back, and all I've done is I've taken the back end of the razor and just opened that up to make certain that's free. It's not gugged up with glue or something. Let's try just that angle a bit less shine. So next thing, here's the tail pane we assembled. Just test fit this in. There's a little tiny, you can just see there's a little tiny wedge just there which fits into the slot. That's going to go into the slot there and try and get that flush. And then on the underside, the tab we had should be on this side, so it's red and so it doesn't show. And this side it will be stuck on, so again it won't show. They really have taken trouble to try and mitigate the joins. I wouldn't say it's exactly hide, but mitigate is a good word. And I put away my glue. Glue, right, glue's always good. Comes the next tune. Right, so what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue along this edge and a little spot of glue on this side, and that should secure it. I've also got a bit of well, it's a freebie thing, just to make a wedge, make a right angle, just so I get this right angle to the tail plane. So little spot of glue along there. Try not to put too much. When I took the blue tape off, I ended up with another loss of paint, of the printing on the back scuttle. You can see it's there. I've got 2 white spots, so I'll mix up a bit of acrylic paint at the end and just fill those in. Just trying to get that in the slot nicely, and I'm going to use my little, just to hold that in place. Clip there, and that's pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is just wait for that to set off a little bit. I can see there's a little splodge there I want to get rid of. Just going to use a bit of sprue just to take off that splodge. Now I need to keep that as upright as possible. Right, that's still setting off, but it's looking quite good and quite straight. I'm liking that. I've done that, what I said, added a couple of little fillets just to give it some strength. And now we're on to the next section, which is putting together these sort of foam supports for the front and back of the nose cover. Now I noticed that the 2 plastic ones are actually numbered slightly different on the sheet, but it's quite obvious which one's which. Also, we're going to stack all these together, and we need to keep it flat on the base. It's not the angle, so we end up with this sort of archway going. But if you notice, it doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. It goes D21, D22, D23, D24, D25. What a weird way of numbering. I would have gone 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. But there you go. And then we're going to stick, this is the back support, that's the nose support. And then we're going to do the back support, which is just 2 parts put together. The stickers on the front, and then we're going to have to align the magnets with the cockpit that they're already in the back of in the fuse. They've got to line up. And then the thing I'm gonna hate doing, I've done the scoring, we did that at the beginning, and I folded that, which looks like that. Then we're going to have to stick those two together, and then these two former pieces that we made previously will stick in. So we'll do this bit, and for that I've got some sticky tape up, you know, the sticky side up to put them on, help hold it together. I think that will help, and we'll do this. Then I might attempt to this point of sticking that together. Then we're going to have to wait for these to fully dry before I can attach them. Okay, so what I've done is when I've cut them off of the plate, I've just written on them the numbers they should be. So that's it. That's 22, etc. So I know which one's which. Sorry, I bumped that. So let's see what we can do with this. So we start off, I think I'm going to stick the plastic ones on after. So I'm going to do the foam ones in the middle first. So D21, which is this one. And next to that goes D24. See what I mean? It's a weird numbering choice. And you'll see that D24 has a little slot at the bottom, and that's where the 3mm magnets are going to go to lock on at the front. So we need 21 stuck to 24. They're all symmetrical left right, so it doesn't really matter which way up they go, but obviously it's sort of important that they line up at the bottom. Hence I'm just going to stick them together, align the sides as best I can. See, they slide all over the place. This really is a fiddly job I have not been looking forward to. And then what I'm going to do is stick that onto the paper, onto the sticky bottom. And that way I know the bottoms are flat, because that's important, because that's what's going to make contact. So I've done 22, 24, next is 25. And then we've got the plastic one at the back, which is, well, they call it P16 there, but it's P17. Oh no, that goes at the front. And P6, they've got P16, and it's actually P16. But again, on the plastics they were wrong. So this is going to go at the back, and this is going to go at the front. It was, yeah, a bit confusing when the numbers don't match up. It's like a, ooh, what's going on here moment. Right, I think I'm going to use tweezers to help pick this up, because I think the glue stuck it to the build mat. Right, so this goes at the front. Again, it lines at the bottom. Okay, that's aligned at the bottom, and then this P16 goes at the back. It's weird plastic, this, because it's almost slightly porous. See how it's going darker there, where it's stuck, and this will go at the back and I'll line up with that shorter one. Right, that's pretty much as close as I can get it. Finally, we've got this piece, and we'll be sticking, you can't see it, this piece and we'll be sticking this piece over. This is a straight one-to-one match. That's easy. So I've used the sticky just to hold that down. It's just painter's tape, so it's low tack painter's tape I'm using behind it. So I'm just using a smearing of glue rather than squeezing it. Just literally sort of smearing it on. And we'll just put that over the top. Move that around a bit to smear it around. And that has got to have some time to dry. While that's setting, we've got this piece here. And this is the plastic part that are folded approximately to match. Now, on the diagrams, you can see that the side pieces are vertical. And they're going to line up with these blocks here. So, something like that. But there's also going to need to be a bit of a gap at the back to allow for this to set in, and a gap at the front to allow that bit to set in. So pretty much we've got to leave an even gap either side and then stick that in, and gosh, these folds really don't want to go. I think I'm going to stick the middle piece first, let that set off, then bring round the sides. I think that's going to be the best way of doing it. So let's stick some glue on this bit. And oddly enough, this is like the shiny side. Maybe I should have done it the other side of the plastic. The other side of the plastic is more sort of grainy and I think holds glue better. Okay, we've got some glue there. Now I want to leave a gap of that thickness gap at the back. Right, so that's sort of joining. I want these to stick really tightly together. Right, I'm sorry, I did this a bit off camera. What I've done is I've used a piece of the thicker 2mm depron and a couple of paper clips. Paper clips? These things, not paper clips, spring clips. To hold the plastic side against the depron, the thin depron. Obviously this is to stop the thin depron getting damaged by the clips. It's a really awkward shape because it's supposed to be flat at the back and yet coned at the front, and my depron has cracked down the middle just a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, just a little crack there. So, and because of the change of shape, the depron has creased slightly in the windows. It's not much, but it's a little bit annoying. Just there, you can see it just there. It's a really awkward shape, and trying to do it in depron is a struggle. So I'm attaching these sides, and then I think I'm going to put the front one on first and get that, and just use loads of tape to hold it into place. Once I'm sure that's set and holding, I'll go around and do the back and add the straight, and I know I'm going to have to I'm going to struggle getting that one to stay flat at the back. Anyway, on this piece, which is the back one, I've added the stickers and I've added the magnets in, making sure that they stick to the magnets that are already in there. And that's quite easy to do. It's just something to be aware of, that to make sure you get the polarities right. Otherwise your hatch isn't going to stay on. Right, okay. Well, I carried on with this manually. I'm not overly pleased with it. I don't like the creases in the top, but it will do. Getting this face flat and getting everything to stick to it was an almighty pain. I used it in its contact style, so put it on, let it dry almost to dry, and then put it together on the end, and then did the same with the sides, and at the same time just made certain everything fit together. And at this end I did pretty much the same thing. Didn't let go quite so contact because I knew I'd have to finagle the ends into the gap, which I've done, and now it looks really silly with that sort of dumpy nose, but that's got to be cut and sanded to shape. So we've got the shape. I've also put a little bit of glue under this covering here, and I've taped it down because that needs to be flat at the front, not curved as I had it, because that way when you put the cockpit on, it matches up at the front. So we've got a carbon fibre axle. Put that down there so you can barely see it. And then we've got two sponge balls basically that had holes in the middle. And when you put they've got these hubs that have been printed using resin printer, and when you push them on, you really clip them together hard. It pushes these foam balls into make really nice but lightweight wheels, and they've got a nice little bounce. It will look good. So to fit this, we just got to put this through the holes. This is why we earlier on we needed to make sure that that hole lined up with the printed hole. We'd never get these axles through. So that goes through there somehow. There it goes. And then out the other axle hole. And it should be just a matter of pushing these onto the axles, and she'll have wheels all round. Oh god, that was easy. So I think that's going to need a touch of glue. Yes, touch of glue on that. But that will be how it will look. Whoops, already falling off. And you can see that will look really nice. Right, what I've done now is I've added a little bit of Velcro for the battery there. I've used a pop-out blade like this, but just the blade itself so I could lay it down, and I've shaped the end of the nose as best I can, and then a little bit of filing just to finish it off, and I'm pretty happy with the shape of that. What I've done is I put the two little 3mm magnets on here so I can get the orientation right, and now I've transferred them into the holes with a spot of glue just to hold them there. And the next thing is to add this sticker here, which covers it all up. This should be fun. Oh, fiddly, fiddly, fiddly. Yeah, let's get that under. Definitely recommend using a pair of tweezers or the like to get this off without destroying it. Let's have another look at this. So it's going to go on this like that. I see. I think what I'm going to do, oh god, it wants to stick to everything but the right place. I think what I'm going to do is match the circle up in the middle. That way it's lined up. These do take some fiddling, these models. You see I've done that, stuck that on the front and matched the circle. Oh god, a bit's ripped off. That's what I mean. These stickers are so fine. Right, so I'm going to put that down there for the moment. I'll have to sort of place it under and then use a bit of paint to fix it. Oh, that's not reaching, so I'm going to have to move it up a little bit. That's annoying. Okay. I'm hoping that will reach. Yes, that's better. And they've got little overlaps just there. So if you follow the overlap, and then it will flap over. And that will flap round and hold the magnet. That's the idea. So now I've got to deal with this broken one. We'll slide it in, so hopefully most of the colour will remain. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to put a spot of paint on that as well. Now I did put a little bit of glue underneath the magnets, so while that's setting, when that sets, they should be fairly solid in there. There we go. It's not awful, but you can see where it ripped. I've got that little mark there. Again, my fingers are fat, it seems. Let's offer it up and see how well it works. So the plastic inside produces a couple of little lips which slide inside the body and just allows a keyway, you know, keys it in. Then the you can feel the magnets pull it out your fingers, and not the worst I've seen. Still not overly happy with that canopy. It's difficult to do, exactly. But there you go. That's it in place. I think what I'll do is, once I've got the paint right, I'll paint on the inside of those lips the red, so you don't get the white flash showing. And that should just help make it look homogeneous. Big word, homogeneous. A little splash of red just to hide up. Yep, moderately happy with that. So it's the last sticker, if I can find it. I put it down somewhere, there it is. Losing everything. It's this sticker here. Let's see if I can try not to tear this one. They are so thin and delicate. And this is this shape, and again you match the circle to the shape there. So let's see if I can do that. Like that. So that's matched up on there, and we just want to bring this round. And that covers the white on the bottom of the plane. Again, once I've got the spot of paint matched in colour, or at least closely matching in colour, I shall just add a few little spots just to be sure the eye doesn't really get drawn to any errors. I think that works. A little bit sticking out there. And that just gives us that colour there. Not too bad, fairly pleased with that. Let's put this back on. See how that looks as a whole. What do you think? It's not too bad. So we want to fit the motor. I've already pushed the motor into the small plywood part. I trimmed off the little feet because I thought they were getting a little bit in the way, and just a dab of glue on the bottom just to hold it. That all seems to work nicely. Little test fit here. So I can't really do this for the camera, but basically we've got to fit this in so the front notches fit into those two little holes which I showed earlier. I need my glasses again, I can't see. Getting old, getting old. Right, there's the notches, and they sort of slot in nicely, and then the whole thing pops down and you get that effect. You can see that it's slotted in. So, and there, as you can see from the design, there's a little bit of right offset there. It's not exactly straight, it's a little bit parallel to allow for torque. Nice bit of design. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on this member here where it attaches, which is along that bit there. That's where it sticks down. Pop this in place again. Hopefully I can do it a second time as well as I did it just then. Oh. It is important that those two little notches go into the holes, otherwise it just won't sit right. We're good. That's good. Cool. I love the right offset on it. So there we are. That's the motor fitted. And the motor connection, let's zoom in on this, the motor connection is just a 2-wire connection because it's not like a brushless motor, so you don't know which way round is the correct way. So what I'm going to do, just connect that one way, it's in one way. Now I'm going to try connecting to it and testing the rotation speed, rotation direction, and hopefully it's like anything, 50-50 chance of getting it right, which means every time it's going to be the wrong way. We all been there. The toast always drops butter side down, etc. So no matter, I know it's a 50-50 way chance, you know it's a 50-50 chance, but we all know it will just drop in the wrong way. Let me load the stagger wing. Stagger wing, Scrappee Stagg. Right. Let's get a battery out. And that goes that way. So we've got so that's aileron, that's elevator. I'm using the aileron as the rudder channel, so I'll just put one stick. not getting much in the way of motor because I've got this arm. Right, let's have a feel. Gosh, wonders will never cease. It's the right way round. Ooh, life. Cool. Right, so knowing that's correct, I can just take the motor, that battery off, and I'm just going to put a dab of colour on that with a silver Sharpie. I'm just going to put a dab of colour to mark that, so I know that. I say I'm going to put a silver Sharpie. It would help if there was some ink in it. That is not taking. Right, let's try a gold Sharpie. Because that one's not working. Let's try the gold one. I just want to be sure. I thought Sharpies wrote on everything. Oh well. Gold side up. Okay, there's a little bit of colour there. Gold side up. Just in case I ever need to disconnect it. Now it says on the manual that we put this is to go this way. So we've got quite a lot of wire there. Fair bit of wire there to account for. And that's going to go in there like that. Okay, well I'm going to work on that and we'll be back once that's fitted. The next step is to fit, well, make up the control horns, and these are really tiny. Don't know if you can see that there. They're basically the plastic that's folded, so we've got to glue these two together. Got two of them. Whoops, dropped it. Two of them to glue together, and one of them to glue to a tiny little base there that will glue onto the rudder. The elevator already has a slot like that in the control formula we had. So this is going to be just a quick update. I'm just going to put some glue on these, and then each one will get the clamp. Okay, every time I think of clamps, I think of whatchamacallit, clamps on Futurama. Give me the clamps, let me give them the clamps, boss. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use it in the contact method. So I'm going to smear some glue on each side, just a little bit. Push them together and let them pop apart a couple of times, just to smear it around. Oh, this is where you think human fingers are far too small for this sort of job. Ugh. Come on. Let that set off for 3 or 4 minutes, and then clamp it together. And then once they're done, we'll stick them onto the plane, and next, after that, we'll be fitting these really fine control rods that I've kept in the bag all this time for fear of losing them. Okay, so they have set off, and I used a couple of bits of the thicker foam either side just to even the pressure, and we now have 2 little control horns to attach. And we have the elevator one, which is going to go here, and the rudder one, which is going on the other side. A bit of fluff on that. Right, and the rudder one, which is going Well, I can't really show it here. The elevator one goes here. This is going to be fun, I can see. I think this is going to be a job for the tweezers of death. They've got, I don't know if you can see it, they've got a little clip on the end of this. So I'm hoping it'll just be a matter of clipping it in and a spot of glue on the other side. So let's give that a try. I haven't actually glued the one for the rudder yet, I just clipped it in. Since I've got to glue that whole thing on, the whole pad, that will lock it off. Oh god. I can just see me breaking this. Yeah. Let's have a look, see if that's worked. So it's stuck in place. But the other side hasn't clipped in. Right. Surprisingly, that worked. You can see that's, well, can you see? Yeah, that's clipped into place okay. So what I'm going to do, on the other side, I'm just going to add a spot of glue. I'm just going to add a spot of glue here, just to help lock it into place. And it will be just a tiny spot. Just don't want it coming out in a hurry. There's a spot that's too big. Let's use a bit of this thicker foam, which is an offcut from the kit, just to push that in. I don't mind it splodging a little bit. And now we have the rudder one to do. Obviously this is going to be difficult to show from your point of view, so I'm just going to do it. Just going to go ahead and just do it. And for this one, because it's not clipping into place, I'm going to use it like contact adhesive again, because I don't trust it not to fall off. Well, I don't know, it's got a hole, it's got a hole. So if I can get it to clip, it's almost impossible to show you as I'm doing it. So let's use the tweezers and try and push it down. Oh gosh, it's going everywhere. Okay, it's in place. Surprisingly, it's in place. Don't know if you can see that. It's on the rudder and in place. So, before I can put push rods to this, of course we've got to let it set off, because there's no way I want that pulling out halfway while I'm connecting the push rods. It is time for the beast to come alive, the beast. Well, I'm using these little 150 milliamp hour batteries. They're absolutely perfect for this. Right, radio's on, and I know it's already bound, so let's connect the power and just check that those servos are in central position. Right, so that's the rudder, and that's the elevator. Don't know if you can see that. Let's give you a close up of that working. Rudder, elevator, and that's both of them. So rudder, elevator, and if I turn this under, motor's working as well. Right, I'll disable the motor. Right, so I'm going to disconnect that for the moment. Let's connect one up and see how we go. The instructions say to feed in, to feed in, the instructions say, we'll do the elevator first, to feed in through the slot and all the way up to the front, which is not that easy because it's very flexible wire. I'm sort of looking through the front of the yeah, I am in pyjamas. This is the day, bank holiday Monday now, and I can't be asked to get dressed. Right, so I've got the wire fed through to the front there. So let's put it on its side. Now it's got a little adjustment loop in the wire there. I don't know if you can see that. So somehow I've got to fit that into there. Time for my glasses. Try and get that adjusted so there's less glare for you. And they say put it into the outside hole. So let's see if I can do that. This is going to be fun. Now these are flexible enough, so I think I can just feed that through. But yeah, this is going to be fun, and I can't show you really. I'm bending the control horn to the side. There we go. And that's it, fed into the slot. So with that in place, we then, since this is elevator, and oh, I need to connect power just to confirm which one's elevator. Yep, definitely elevator. Put some power in here. So that's the elevator one. So operating the elevator, that's the elevator one. So what you need to do, according to the instructions, is to line it up with one of the holes in the servo. I'm going to have to do this way, sorry. Line it up with one of the holes in the top of the elevator. Use needle nose pliers for that. I think what I want to do also, just to make certain that elevator is horizontal, just going to use a couple of bits of foam, and I'm just going to clamp the elevator. So hopefully it will stay horizontal. This is to stop it being dented. So if I use one of these clips, I can just then make certain the elevator is definitely horizontal and fixed in place. I should then be able to line up the edge of the needle nose pliers, well, needle nose, with the hole, and bend, okay? It then says to snip it down to what size? 4mm? 4mm in length. Now I'll use my already knackered Chinese side cutters. That's about 4mm, it's a guess. There we go. Now I just need to place that through the hole in the servo, and hopefully we'll have a control surface. It's fighting me, of course. I think take the clamp off, and hopefully we have a working elevator. You don't need a lot of surface deflection on these models. And that's the there's plenty of deflection there. Yeah, cool. Rinse and repeat, as they say, for the other side. Well, that's that done. We now have control surfaces attached and set to straight at medium. I've added a little drop of glue just at the bottom of the control horns, just to ensure that they stay put. And the next thing I'm going to do is take these wing struts between the top and the bottom. I've already bent the top edge out on all these, so the next stage on that is just literally to glue these together to make a stronger strut. Next thing I'm going to do is take these sections. Where's the other one? There it is. They are pre-marked, so I'm just going to, if you can see that, it's just a little score line down the middle. I'm just going to take a blade and just open that up just a little bit. Both of these. Right, now I should be able to fold these back. Yep, heard it snap a bit, that's fine. And that'll reduce that. Just going to take a little spot of glue just to hold these together. That one's got an extra bit that I need to cut off. Equally so as that one. Just when it was cut off the sheet, it left a little piece. So this should then fold this way. Lovely. So smear of glue, fold them up. So this is what I've got set up. Sticky side up, held down by two strips. Sticky side down, obviously, and two of the one of either side, just stuck in a couple of places so it doesn't move about. And what I'm going to do is just add some glue to this, and I'm going to use this in a smeary way, so I'm going to do one at a time. I'll just smear this around a bit. So it's on both sides. And I can then make certain they're fully aligned. And I don't care about if it splots out a little bit. I can just give it a quick wipe, get it all over my fingers, and we'll be good. I'm more worried about getting them aligned, and now I can just leave them to dry. Yep, that looks pretty good to me. Yep, I can take that. Let's do the other one. I think what I'll do is just across that middle section, I'm just going to put a bit of tape just to push down. Let dry, and then once they're dried, we'll add them to the plastic strengtheners, which are pre-bent into the little slots as we showed earlier. And that should make a nice finish. Add the shapers. Add these shapers here, and we should be in a good place to close up the wing. So what I'm going to do is put the double side in first, get that lined up with the slot, then stick the rest against the L shape, make certain that matches up. That looks pretty good. And then certainly at this end I'm definitely wrapping a bit of tape round just to hold that double side together against the foam. And this is a bit like the blue painter's tape. It's low tack, very low tack, so it shouldn't cause any trouble trying to get it off, she says. And let's do the other side. I'm covered in glue. Right. Time to let them go off. Next, give them 20 minutes to go off or so. Okay, well, I take the liberty of sticking the little cross members onto these, and now we're going to put them in the wings. Now remember, there's an angle here that goes down, and we're going to be sticking them that way. So to protect that angle down, here's my latest copy of the BMFA News. So that's going to go in here, and that's just going to allow a little more depth. And to put this on, it goes angled side down onto the wing, because we're sticking it to the folded side of the wing. Now, interestingly, the picture shows it as a straight line, but to match that, you've actually got to bend that slightly like that. So that's what I'm going to do. And because this end is going to fold down, I'll do it all in shot. Because this end angles down and this end folds down, you got to make certain that angle down is downward as well. So don't get mixed up in positions. We're sticking it on the top side of the wing. So this bit is the bit that goes into the plane itself, into the fuselage. So we're not gluing that, we're gluing that bit. So I'm going to put some glue. Who actually reads the BMFA News? I think there's about 3% of it I actually read. It's really just, I just am a member of the BMFA just for the insurance, and just because most of the clubs around here require it. If you're going to fly, you've got to be a BMFA member. And quite frankly, half the stuff I fly, my quads, my long range FPV stuff, the BMFA doesn't like. So, I'm a bit of a rebel. Let's get this on. So I'm just going to make certain that overlaps. Align this up here. Line it up on that fold line. Let's put the old magnifying glasses on just to make certain I'm spot on that line. I am. And then I'm just going to adjust that angle. And to make sure you got it, I'm going to put a little bit of sticky tape on. I'm all for sticky tape. Sticky tape is great. Just to make certain that sticks on. And sticks on in the right place. doesn't cause any problems apart from that. And then as you can see there, that's come apart. So I'm going to put a little bit of sticky tape round that piece just to keep that angle. So we need that bend. A little bit on the other side as well. And once that's all set off, we can then go ahead with folding this wing over, gluing it down, and that's almost the final step. Almost. Obviously, we've still got these to do. We want to preserve that angle as best we can. I mean, obviously, once the wing is folded over, it's going to hold that anyway. But I like to know I'm doing it right. Okay, so those are now going to set off using the BMFA to protect the ends. Going to let that set off. Next stage, right, these are set enough for me to carry on. So what I'm going to do is just put some glue around the corner of this and along obviously the top of that, push them together, open them up, let them go off, and then push it together permanently and tape it. So I'm going to use the contact way of joining these. So I want them to stay put once I put them together, really. I'm going to put some tape on just to make sure they stay put, but that, especially the end of this, because there's obviously pressure against that. So glue along here and glue along the bottom of the spar. I think we've got enough here. Right, so push that together. So we've got thumb on both sides. Open that up, a bit of string in there. Right, gonna let that go off. In fact, give that a little bit more. Don't want it sticking quite yet, otherwise it won't be a solid glue. Same here. Glue down the centre, glue across here, glue down here. Right, and then glue around the contacting surface. On that, and again just push that over so it contacts all the surfaces. Open it up, stringy, let that dry a little bit. I'm going to let them both dry a little bit longer. Really filthy. Right, let's do this. Close that down, all around, tape on this section, another piece of tape on this section, and then tape around this corner here. This is fairly important because it has to close up against the side, so I'll fold that over to help that. And then I'm going to, just to make sure that bit's done, piece of tape either side here again just to keep the dimensions correct, basically. Don't be afraid to tape is the theme here, isn't it? That's all good. And now, while that's setting, we can fit these. Now, they go backwards, and the profile cut in the bottom of that matches exactly. So you can't really get it wrong if you just think about it for a moment or two. So there's a spot of glue on this. This is the penultimate spot of glue. After this, the only last bit of glue, well, second to penultimate. I've already test fitted this to know they fit. Okay. Tissue. We are nearly there. So close to being finished. I can taste it. This goes backwards as well. The holes are quite tight, so definitely test fit before you go for the glue. And we're just going to put them aside. And here are the wings all set off. You can see that that's locked into place nicely. Everything's stuck down well. It's seated well around here, and this is fixed into place nicely. Same with this one. It's sealed around this. This is where it curves up a bit, and it's nice and clean there. So we've got a good aerofoil. Now I have done a dry fit, and I had problems with these holes being a bit too gunged up, and the spar wouldn't go in. So what I did was I took a small screwdriver, one of those little jeweler screwdrivers, heated it just enough to be sort of semi-melting the plastic, and just pushed it into there and cleaned up the hole. It's not over important that it's a really, really tight fit, because we're going to be gluing the whole wing in. So if I just push this spar in there, it does fit, and there's still quite a lot of resistance, so it's going to be a good fit. There's a printed image here along the side there, so you know what angle to put the wing at, because it should match the image, and it does, which is good. And then underneath we can see that matches onto there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the inside ones in, hold them into place again with a bit of tape, and once they're set off I'll attach these parts, and the other side fits in a similar way. I'm so derogatory. Right, push that into its hole. It's fitting quite nicely. This side needed less opening up. I think it's just, you know, you're building such a small plane, you're going to have some points where a splodge of glue or the foam doesn't go exactly right, and you're going to end up with a slight difference. But I like that little print there, because it means you know you've got the wing in the right place. That's really good telltale. Yeah, you know you've got it in the right place because the print matches up. Oh, look at that. That is looking absolutely lovely. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the space where they're supposed to go. You can actually push them to one side. It's a bit too much on both cases. Let's wipe a little bit of that glue off. Then, hey, you know it, I'm going to put them into place, get it to touch, and then just let it set. The weight of the wing will hold it into place, and they really do fit into place quite nicely and precisely, which is great. Means I've built the rest of the model right if it's all sticking together into the right places. And you want to get them exactly straight because you don't want them to act like weird rudders at the end of the wings, do you?